Hello guys, welcome to the SRG Autumn Split as we are going to be casting the Division 1 where we are going to be seeing the DVN Avaritia take on SRG Chimaera, and what an exciting game we have. I'm of course joined here by my colorcaster Hadis. How are you today?
Good. I'm doing super well. It's a beautiful day across the Atlantic Ocean, and I'm excited for some League of Legends between Chimaera and Avaritia today. It's going to be exciting, a little bit explosive, and there's a little bit on the line here because both teams are trying to just get up in the standings in any way they can and really assert their dominance on how they play the game. And so I'm excited to see what Chimaera picks, and more importantly, I'm really excited for this mid lane matchup today.
Yeah, definitely looks to be exciting, as Chimaera has been showing some great promise in the series so far, and we look to see Avaritia turn it back around. as we would also like to thank again that you guys are tuning in. It's such a big support and proves that these players really does belong in a pro league. Like, they have really been earning their spot here. And I would also like to thank our sponsors, Hungry.dk, Streamboss, 4 Summerland, and Trikas Esport for really helping us to build this tournament and this org, so we can really start being very professional and really open up to more opportunities. As we are
Yes.
getting into the picks and bans, Hadis, please take us through this.
Yeah, no. So we start with the Z ban and the Zaya ban. So if we look at both teams, we see that Bowmaster and Freddy Gamerin play traditional AD carries. So the Z ban on Gerinter, because Gerinter plays a lot of assassins, we'll also probably see a Fizz ban as well. So suspect that. We have Morgana from Postcassin, which, like, I have seen Postcassin's Morgana, and it is dirty. So that's a great ban coming out of here. The rest are going to try to be focused around mid lane and jungle. Those are the most prominent lanes currently in the meta that can really snowball coming picks.
Yeah, and I especially remember seeing Prombo play both the Jarvan and the Joani last time we casted together. And do you think that those two are going to be highly prioritized in this game?
I think Prompo's very comfortable on Jarvan. It's a CC bot. You're level 3, you're level 6, and you can't go wrong as long as you play with your team and you don't get behind in farm. We see the Renekton banned out, and the first pick, Kai'Sa for Freddy Gamerin. They have been playing Kai'Sa in solo queue. They have a 56% win rate for the entirety of Season 9 with Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa is also very strong right now. Bowmaster picks up the Ashe, and just as we predicted, Prompo on the Jarvan.
And remember from when we casted last time together that Ashe was insane with the DPS, as well as those ults coming every single time. Prompo also playing nicely that series, having some ups and downs, but his Jarvan always seems to find those great ults, as we are seeing the premier blood lane here with Bowmaster and Postcassin taking
We are
that
seeing
Ashe prom.
we are seeing the glacial comp in the bot lane, and hopefully it works out. This is very similar to their game against Civilian Esport Prime Legion, where they went Ashe Brom and Postcassin went 3 and 5 and 20, had a great ward score, and Bowmaster went 5 and 7, but couldn't make things happen with their team because they could never set up. So hopefully they get a better turnout this time. As we see Sexy Six-Pack Gamer on the Vladimir, I have to question, is it Klepto Vlad? Is it Grasp Vlad? Is it Phase Rush Vlad? Vladimir's so versatile as a champion, and I really want to see how Chimaera takes that pick and turns it on its edge, because it's super hard to counter a good Vladimir in the top lane.
Yeah, we have seen a lot of Vladimir at Worlds, which is still ongoing, though this is of course the better tournament, as we see Splice being in the quarterfinals. That's some yikes right there. But I would also say I haven't actually seen a lot of Vladimir mid lately. I do still think it's very good, but are we just completely expecting Sexy Six-Pack Gamer to get this Vlad and just to run over people? Because that was something that was very prominent during the last of Chimaera's matches.
Exactly. Seeing the bans from the Renekton, the Aatrox, and the Kled kind of worry me, because Aatrox is really good into Vladimir if played correctly. And so picking the Gangplank here from Pinata's last showing on Gangplank, going 17, 7, and 7, picking up 2 Infinity Edges, a Sterex Gauge, and a Triforce. That's a lot of damage, and once you can scale to that from Pinata, there's nothing that they can't do.
Yeah, and this looks like just the exact same comp they run last time we watched against Prime Legion. But also just the fact that we have
mid lane Vlad, mid lane Vlad.
Yeah, but we also saw like a lot of Gangplank Vlad at Worlds, so that might be why we especially thought that this Vladimir was going top lane, because it seems to be a Vladimir focused matchup, but Gangplank can get ahead if he gets a good level 1. But it does seem to be the Darius who's going up in that top lane, and then the Lulu with the nearly fresh buff to her E going down in that support role. That's something we also saw at Worlds once. Didn't go as well for RNG.
It did not. It did not go as well for RNG in that instance. Although we are seeing the casting picked out for Gerinter, level 16, literally, Nick. After level 15, this game is going to be explosive. We have Vladimir that will be online. We have a Kassadin that'll be online. Now, in this top lane with the Darius against the Gangplank, I wouldn't be surprised if Pinata has to play just a little bit safer, or at least trades up their masteries to kind of resemble that matchup. As for Sexy Six Pack Gamer here, you're looking for that immediate kill at level 2. This is going to be some explosive gameplay, and I don't actually see this game for the side of Avaritia taking any moments to pause, if you understand what I mean. They always have to be on tempo so that they can never fall behind, because they have a ticking clock with the Gangplank and the Cascade.
Yeah, it definitely does seem like both teams have late game insurance, but Sexy Six Pack Gamer on that Darius might actually have to just immediately stomp, else they might just loot out because of Darius's hard time getting all 5 stacks off in the later stages of the game. We do, however, see Darius still pop up time and again in solo queue, but he does seem to have fallen a lot in priority, and I do definitely expect that Pinata might have some clever way of getting out of it. Where do you expect both the junglers to go, though, in this matchup, as it was the Javelin Serenity picked up?
Well, definitely, they both rely on level 3 power spikes, if not a level 2 power spike coming in from Prompo with the flag and drag combo. Nan on the Sejuani really needs to get to level 3 just to get those extra procs off on that passive and her Glacial E. And so, if you are on the side of DVN here, what you're looking for is you're looking for just a quick gank top to get Sexy Six Pack Gamer ahead on Darius. And if you're Prompo, you're looking to either impact bot, or you're either looking to counter gank top if you don't get there first. The reason we don't talk about mid lane is because the escape potential on Civez on this Vladimir. And so Prompo is just going to have a hard time getting in that lane unless the pool is used.
Yeah, and of course we also know that Sejuani does have that level 6 outplay button that just once you get hit by it, you just are dead. So she could potentially also just, if she really gets a good lead, maybe just run bottom, run mid, and then just get that one outplay and then snowball one of those lanes as well, even though Vlad Kassadin seems like the most boring lane of all time.
It does, but I think Avaritia has the advantage, at least on the early game, just with a little bit of poke. Yenter on this Kassadin, we've seen a lot of good performances, or at least adequate moments in game on Assassins, but we've never seen, at least on my end, I've never seen a full carry potential on this game. Whether you're playing Kiana, whether you're playing a Kassadin, you need to really establish dominance in the game a little early, or hopefully they forget about you until you get your power spikes in. There is only 2 ways to play that game. You can't find that happy medium without also dying. And so you can't play as safe as Kassadin as you would Pinata on this Gangplank. Looking at the bot lane, however, I see Bowmaster and Post Kassadin really trying to CC this Lulu, because with the buffs and the quality of life changes for this Lulu, Sick in the Head's just going to have a great time polymorphing and then also getting that extra poke in. And so that makes up for the extra range that Kai'Sa does not have.
Yeah, and who do you think is favored in this game? Which team combo you more lean towards is going to take the edge?
I think if pulled off correctly and they weighed it out, SRG Chimaera has the skill and they have the team comp to then snowball themselves to a late game win. However, if that doesn't happen, Avaritia definitely can take this early. They have a Kai'Sa. If Darius gets fed, that's almost GG, because you could force mid game faster than a Kassadin or Gangplank are going to want that. Both of these teams have shown that they get very shaky in that mid game, and they don't know how to make those decisions that really impact the rest of the map. Whether that's going for an objective all right away, taking the tower within a split second to spare, understanding death timers. And so that's what makes this game explosive, is that none of these teams are perfectly clean. And that is when we're going to see mistakes happen and capitalization go. SRG Chimaera had a game go over 40 minutes and they lost it when they could have won. And so seeing how this game plays will tell me if they can close out games or not.
Yeah, as we definitely will see that as we are heading into Champions League, and I do already see some very interesting masters we have here, as well as the Ignite Electrocute Kassadin in that mid lane. That is going to be an interesting one to see. I have seen Kassadin with Electrocute before, and I have seen with Ignite against some of these very healthy matchups, but not combined. So that's going to be a lot of burst damage, as well as that grasp for Gangplank. So He's not gonna be klepto stacking off this Darius for sure, so that is just a defensive option to go with.
No, and I think just the grasp is just keeping you alive. You do get that lethal tempo in the Guardians coming in the bot lane for SRG Chimaera. However, I like the fleet footwork on Kai'Sa, in part because when you take press of the attack, you don't get a lot of sustain, and Lulu's heal doesn't really help you out a lot. So sticking the head, just a little bit more insurance, just in case Prompo decides to focus that bot lane, because it's really hard to give Gangplank a kill on a level 3 Darius.
Yeah.
Yes.
Alright. As we are heading into game here, we do see like a lot of power coming out from both, but I don't think there's gonna be anything too exciting happening prior to the ults. Maybe the top lane might be focused down, but generally speaking, I think we should see both teams take it slow up until the ult, and then suddenly it's gonna explode, because that has kind of been the theme so far. There might be a single blowout kill, but generally speaking, once the ults come up, that's when the game just suddenly becomes the most snowbally fiesta we can see.
That's true, but we also have to continue to think about these individual outplays that could happen across the map. Sexy Six-Pack Gamer doesn't have the Ignite, but still has the Bleed and the Conqueror to sustain themselves in lane, which tells me they don't want that cheeky early game kill. They're still really ready for that map presence and really ready to impact the game. If you look through the bot lane with Bowmaster post Casson, one good Braum Q and auto is certain death for Sick in the Head and Pretty Gamer. So right now, I'm looking for those individual outplays before 10, before you reach that explosive level 6 mark you were talking about.
Yeah, it definitely could be very dangerous. If one misplay happens, you know these guys will punish it immediately. As we are getting ready for the first camps to be taken, both started red side, something we are very adjusted to now.
Yes, we're not seeing as much vertical jungling as we did earlier in the season or even in Season 8. And the reason for that is because your junglers aren't really told to be high impact, and the scuttle changes that happen. Oh, we are seeing, however, Sexy Six-Pack Gamer in the mid lane. They definitely want Cevez against Pinata on this Vladimir. And so seeing that, I have to say that a Darius into a Kassadin is probably the best case scenario for Sexy Six-Pack here.
Yeah, and this does mean that we are gonna have a lot more action than we thought, because the Gangplank Vladimir matchup, we talked a little about it, but it's all about that level 1. If Gangplank can find something level 1, then you're suddenly gonna see a lot of high impact, where this Gangplank can just sustain up and really deal with lane. But if not, then Vladimir is just gonna scale up, he's gonna out-sustain, there's gonna be nothing you can do. And then suddenly, one jungle gank or one tower dive, and then Vladimir just snowballs the rest of the game.
And part of this is when you're playing against the Vladimir, you're expected, especially as Gangplank, you're expected to lose lane. Gangplank is a champion that loses gracefully. And so understand that your job is just to not die. That is the play here. And I hope that Pinata takes that to heart. Make sure you farm up enough gold. Because at the end of the day...
Ooh, that's a hard trade in that mid lane, as it's taking very low with that 5. But that's just why Darius into Kassadin is so hard. Kassadin has nothing early game, no abilities really. And Darius can just abuse that, especially with his 80 power, which Kassadin doesn't even have a shield against.
And I can see maybe in the future Gerinter saying, hey, we have to keep this lane swap, as Mailbox and Bowmaster just continue to poke out Freddy and Sick in the bot lane. But as you were saying, once you reach level 3 as Darius against this Kassadin, Nan is coming out.
Lane here, as there's flash in, but Cevez and Nang is still following up, but it's just gonna be a flash for flash.
So, not a lot here. We did get some summoner spells blown. I wouldn't be surprised if in the next 3 minutes we see Gerinter's flash get blown in any regard, because we see Nan pathing toward that mid lane. Prompo is now forced, because of the Darius that has just decided to call mid lane their home, to hover mid lane actually. And so that gives Prio 4 DVN today, and it really splits up what dragon potential that Prompo could have over Nan.
Yes, we do see Nang up in the top side again. There's no flash on Pinata, but he has full health. Can they get something done here? Orange will be popped just to get him out. Yeah, I don't think Sebas was in any way able to follow up there. but Nine just poking him out, making sure that Seva's gonna have a bit easier time in lane as Suho is
They're gonna
very
get
low.
out.
Taking the head on less than 100 HP now. Could very well just be flashed on soon.
And that's just a Flash Ignite coming in from Postcast. Flash Ignite and Auto. All they need. Looking at kind of the junglers pathing, we are seeing Nan and Prompo both try and collapse on each other, except Prompo's playstyle isn't that active. We've never seen a early J4 game coming in from Prompo, and more reliant on the safe plays that they can win, which in its essence is smart, but it might not also be the best thing for your team.
In bot lane here, when are getting the sun out onto mailbox here, they are putting out good, but they can't really get anything done. Taking the head is still very low, so it is just gonna be that Guardian proc as well as just having Freddy Gamer in here, pick up the last farm so they can get a safe reset.
And I think part of this is you really just wanted to relieve pressure so that Second Ahead could back.
Yeah, we also saw Probo, he's playing very methodically and like very much for his team. He's not about getting them all ahead, he's just about making sure that they can get their farm. But Nine, he's very aggressive. He's gonna say, either we're gonna get this kill, or you're gonna get the fuck out of the lane so the rest of my team can get every resource in the scot-free.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the essence of a jungler that plays around their team, which is what Sejuani inherently does. You are a CC bot more than Prompo could ever be on this Jarvan. And if you're not getting punished in your jungle, if your lanes can't be pushed up enough on the side of Prompo where then you can go and invade, then you really can't do anything to the Sejuani, and you wait for that level 6 power spike.
Oh, Yainda, you are dead, my dude, as you are just getting cut down by the Noxian might of this Darius. 66 by Gamer lane swapping once, and then Yainda just gets caught a bit too close with flash up.
And I mean, they lane swapped, but they lane swapped together, so it really kind of big brain plays coming in from DVN right here, because right now we're seeing Sexy Six-Pack Gamer just laughing in the top lane. He already has a phage, he already can kill you, and he's gonna keep doing that repeatedly because that's what Darius is built for.
Yeah, we just have to wonder why Yaina gets so far up. He has to flash up. He should not ever die in that exchange, but he just seems to be overconfident there, and it might even cost him the red buff here. As we do see a bit of trading here. Can Prompo get in there?
And here is
you're
Enter taking on Sevens.
Getting pretty low.
But I think overall, your Enter just needs to play a little back. Get that farm, because currently you only have a tier build. And while you are level 6, you should try and get some AP scaling items under your belt to finish your Manamune.
Yes, as we also just saw, like, Prompo actually got the red buff, which means that big amount of commitment inside the topside jungle actually ends up going in favor of SRG instead. Now Chimaera can set up way better, as well as getting some nice trades out, as we do see Severs here. He has to pop the ult here, can't even get the empowered Q off, so it's just gonna be in the here. He still has Flash Ignite up. Severs, you're very far forward here. I know your Flash is coming back up again now, but...
And what we're seeing is your Enter taking trades,
oh wait,
but
he might... He's very low there.
he is. But a lot of things are happening across the map, and I do want to focus on the spot side as Prompo comes to potentially counter gank, where your Enter and Sevez are trading fairly equally, depending on the skill that they're both putting into it. And so your Enter should win that matchup, but Sevez has that constant sustain that Kassadin simply just does not have.
Yeah, definitely so. As we do see, like, there's a lot of trading going on. These guys like being low HP, as they just keep on taking a lot of risk. They also hold on to their sums because they just have this feeling of them not going in, and then when they actually do, we saw a 66 gamer killed Yainda, then suddenly that's too late. Like, they're already dead.
And that's what makes Prompo's J4 pick in this matchup kind of difficult to deal with, because if in the beginning of the game you can't gank a pre-level 6 Darius, even though that's what you wanted to be set up for, you are now focused on the bot lane, which has been very well warded by Sick in the Head and Freddy Gamer.
Yes, we do see a bit more skirmishing coming out on this bot side. Both junglers just keep on facing each other, and they are gonna have a little scuttle debacle, as it should be going over for the side of Combo here and Chimaera.
And that's just because of the vision that they have. If you're ever in a game and people aren't warding, you can always look back to this game and say, well, that's why SRG Chimaera got scuttled.
And remember, scuttle is the most important objective. Next is we don't care about that. It's scuttle crabs now.
It's only scuttle.
Yeah.
There's only crab. Yeah. And that's why Urgot is so important. Anyway.
Level 2 Sims out. Let's win the game.
Exactly. We look at this mid lane matchup. The reason Dragon is so hard to take right now, or at least before 10, is because you're seeing the constant flux between mid lane and top lane, and you don't know what to prioritize as a jungler. And so this is really
in this top side now. We do see Pinata being caught out. He's gonna flash, but he does get pulled back in. He does not have the help, and we see the ults coming in as Nang and 66 by Gamer will pick up the second kill from the side of Avaritia here.
And that's just good map awareness. Pinata did blow their flash, but it just wasn't enough for the stun from Nan to come in. We are seeing, however, on the opposite side of the map, Bowmaster is just pushing in this lane. Look at that farm.
We see the flash in, and that's a double kill. Easy execution, both ignites down, just insane execution, and it went by in a flash.
Exactly, and we also see the TP coming in from 66-Pack Gamer on top of Rift Herald there. Great execution in that bot lane, which is exactly what I was going to bring up before they decided, hey, it's time to fight now. Which is that Bowmaster is very far ahead in comparison to Freddy Gamerin, mainly because of gold in pocket.
Yeah, and I want to point out that Prombo actually was on the wrong side of the map. He had to be in the bot side to either contest the mid lane or to contest the dragons. So they are going to lose out a bit in this exchange, even though they got the 2 kills to the 1. It is going to be hell for Clouddrake, as Nang is looking back up in the top lane. Pinata might be looking to keep this tower alive.
I mean, you really have to. You don't want to have them get full value out of Shelly here.
Yeah.
We are seeing the Blade of the Ruined King come in for the Ashe, which also with a couple daggers and boots show that attack.
We see the Black and Drag going out, but doesn't seem to be any follow-up.
There would be anything from your enter to do. I think Prompo's just trying to do something with a little bit of farm lead that they have. They don't have, obviously, the gold lead here, but what they need to do is they need to use that rotation for Clouddrake to then get around the map faster and try to out-rotate Nan, who is controlling this jungle matchup. Yeah,
it definitely is, as we also did see, like, under that dive in the bot side, it was so fast and clean executed that neither Freddy Gamerin or Sick in the Head got even their ult or Sumser.
Yep.
So they're still up. Like, I know Mailbox only uses Ignite, but it's still like a very hard to kill bot lane with this Lulu and Kai'Sa. They get a big fed Kai'Sa that gets empowered auto attack. That's scary. Like, that's insanely scary. So they can still die, but once Nang actually has a good read on them, they might actually be struggling to kill them.
Oh, Texas Sixpack Gamer is just taking these trades. They're all
trades everywhere.
Yeah. While there's a lot happening, we are still focusing on the best parts of the game. Like, I want to be able to say, well, Garenter's gonna get online as we see Prompo clear vision in the bot.
Oh my, that damaging. Onto Sevis. As Nang struts out Prompo just gets out. As Sevis might be engaged on there.
Yeah, but there is no ignite from your enter here.
Yeah,
it will come up in a hot second.
The Hemo Plague is up for Sevis. He might be able to re-engage. Yang just missed a lot of his damage there.
And with turret plates falling, we are seeing a lot of progress made for the top, for DVN, and for SRG. We are seeing a great bot lane push that I think will continue. God. I mean, with the sustain of Vladimir, sure, you can take these trades, but at what cost, Nick?
Yeah, and it's just, you know that at some point that trigger is gonna be pulled, and then suddenly we have to be honest, because Nang is back here in the bot lane. Singing the head is survive there with the ult. They're using also ult right now. The arrow comes through, it hits the Kaiser, the heal's down as well. And again, nothing happens. As Sevis is ignited there.
Oh my goodness. He's gonna heal out.
Oh wait, Ironda, he might be able. Okay, Hemoplague coming down. Ironda still gets the kill.
Wait.
He might just fall to the Hemoplague.
Oh.
Down, but they get the butt side turret.
That is incredible micro decision for your Inter, but from Sevis, knowing that, oh, I'm gonna die, getting that trade kill is probably the best they could hope for in a matchup that they didn't even want to have to begin with.
Yeah, and also just there's no flash as the Nang does get caught out here. As Frumpo might be falling instead though, as Mail
Lulu too strong, Lulu too strong.
It's a 2-1-3 because we still have Bowmaster here on the side, but he has no mana, no ult. So they just have to escape, as they may have overcommitted for that one.
They may have. Sexy Sixpack Gamer, I think rotating to that mid lane after taking top is the best decision to try to keep your Inter in check.
Yeah,
but
they should just take a lot of damage on that tower, right?
They should, because I don't think Inter even contests this tower here. You're creating an opening of the map and inherently starting the mid game, although argue the mid game started 3 minutes ago when people started roaming all over the place and your Inter got a kill in that bot lane, just being able to roam. We haven't seen Sevis be able to do any of those Vladimir roams, but again, they just bought their Spellbinder, and so they probably are ready to get online. The farm lead is not substantial if you're Sevis, but it also depends on who your original lane opponent was. And so are they matching them? And if they are not, what does Devilian have to do in this matchup to get ahead?
Yeah, and we also just see that Frumpo is not having the best game. He's had not enough of kill participation. He hasn't really had the greatest of control when compared to Nan. And he has not been the guy to really do these engages that this team might actually need. Bowmaster and Yand has been those engages. And while they certainly can happen, we're getting later into the game now, and he has to step up now. Else
he does.
Might just
he hasn't used his Cataclysm once, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I think he's used it once, but I don't think it mattered, as he didn't get anything out of it.
Yeah, and you hate to see that when
popping the Hemoplague to defend himself.
That's just popping the Hemoplague just to live. Yerinter is definitely controlling the sideway.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like Sevis is getting enough attention from Nang. Nang has to actually commit to multiple lanes, as they are looking to collapse here, as Ironda spots out Sevis, is gonna take in the fight here, as he actually deletes him. The CP is coming in, as Nang is boosted up by the Lulu, but so far, Chimaera is winning this fight. They have not killed a single person yet for the side of Avaritia, as it's a clean ace!
No, Avaritia dropped the ball on that. Having blown the Hemoplague from Sevis, basically gave up that fight because there was no flank potential. And then not being able to put enough damage in from Freddy Gamer just tells you that Bowmaster is the Fred party here, and that your Inter can take control of the game before you even reach level 16 on these side waves. When you're trying to play a 1-3-1, which is what you do play for your Inter and Pinata here, with the Gangplank and the Kassadin, the only answer is to be able to answer the side lanes with Sexy Sixpack Gamer and Sevis. But if Sevis can't even answer the Kassadin here, then you're forcing the Darius, who, let's be honest,
might be caught out, as he's very low HP.
Not even close, Nick. Not even close. No. But you are forcing side wave action to happen that Devilian just isn't ready for in this comp. And so if you are Devilian, you need to be able to force plays across the map and catch your Inter out, or at least get some vision so that you can then get those picks somewhere else across the map. Because right now, we even talked about the gold lead that just really sprung up. It's 5,000 gold, and that just means objectives taken. That means more item spikes than your opponent. And so towers at this point don't matter because it's all about those team fights.
Yeah, and so far we do see Chimaera coming out on top in these fights, as they did just get that big ace, as Ironda now just chasing down.
Sevis.
Leave. And he And that is why Cassidy, folks, is very, very strong.
That is
Nine
why
also-
he's in historical. Like, he's the most banned champion ever in League of Legends.
Oh, as we do see, the Asher comes out as, oh, that's an instant lead. Bowmaster just taking out that Lulu there as he flashes in as well. Oh, but Freddy doesn't get a good enough flash out as it's gonna be the double kill there. Nine might also be chased down here as the cannon barrage also comes down. Mailbox might be looking to help from the chase. Oh, the flash in from Sexy Gamer. This Bowmaster is gonna get that glacial stun out from the Grom. And that's a reset. Sexy Gamer might just
Let's go get him again. Oh.
But Nang is being changed down by Pinata here. He does pop the orange to stop the slow. He might just be able to get him here. Good job, Pinata. Alright. So that's another 5 kills for the side of Chimaera, and they only lost 1 in return from both.
And what's killing me from Chimaera here is they didn't automatically go to Baron. They're trying to push these tower objectives, or at least get those extra kills as your intro goes on Seves.
Yeah, he's being ignited. Oh, but now he's just one-hitting the Lulus as well.
This damage!
Oh wait, he might just have overextended there, but nope, he might
Nope,
just...
not at all. Oh, wait.
Okay, he was overextended. It's just that Kaiser is very squishy.
Yes. And so we do see Bowmaster and Postcassin take this mid lane, but if they would have grouped up, or at least had any semblance of team there, and this is what I was talking about in the pregame, if both teams know how to close out the game, this game's done at 25 minutes. But because there are simple mistakes that still can be made by SRG here, I'm not so convinced that Non, Seves, and Sexy Sixpack can't bring this game back and get Freddy Gamer in online. It is still possible, although very hard with a 7,000 gold deficit. But that's what I mean. If you can't take those advantages, then maybe you lose the game.
Yeah, and especially after we see them getting caught out, Sebas being not understanding the power of the Lich Bane second item Kassadin, which is actually the way you're supposed to go it right now, even though it's less popular. But also just like Nang overextending because he still thinks that he's got the superior matchup against Frombo, even though at this point,
it doesn't
even
matter.
in a one-on-one he has really no chance because of Conqueror.
And in a one-on-one, you really want to play with your team, and you really want to play a 4-1 with Non, Sexy, Freddy, and Sig in the Head all together. But you can't do that when you have a 1-3-1 coming in from the side of SRG here. And so that is what I mean by having to force plays and get picks, which is not the position that Avaritia wants to be.
Oh, and we see the Cataclysm going down here, and we see both flashes for the bot side of Avaritia here, as the Larry does come out, and Lulu will be taken down.
And this...
Oh, no, Nang is going in this time, and Mailbox being called out. He has to flash out as well. Nang being very overextended as Hemoplague comes in just to help them get more people down as they're finally picking up the Chimaera kills as both bot lanes now going down.
Look at that, the TP coming in from Darius.
Yeah, he's the only one who has any ability to stop as he still doesn't have picked up any kind of armor. And therefore, the Darius could potentially still be a bit...
He's 2
big
levels.
Oh, Pinata might spot out Freddy Gamer here. Sebas is there to keep him alive, but so far that was very close. They almost lost the bot lane in here, but still really nice play. As and they just one-hit Sebas.
And that's, you hate to see it. You really do. There's a Lich Bane Kassadin on the loose, not even level 16, hasn't even been at that god mode yet, but what we've seen from level 11 with that bot lane gank, that snowball that happened for your enter, it takes me to this place of, like, I'm scared. I'm scared for Avaritia here, because at any point in time, a Kassadin could appear out of the jungle and just one-shot you.
Yeah, and this reminds me so much of Kiana, because at one point you see it, and at one point you're dead.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the timing. But
you can't play the game.
Just Kiana, when she has that Duskblade power spike, you just see her once, and then you're just, okay, I'm dead.
Yes.
It's almost instantaneous reaction that gives this shock effect that you can't even really react to it, and since you have no teammates around you, even if you could react, how were you supposed to? Because
and I think that's how assassins are supposed to feel too, right? You should be able to feel like you have the power to delete somebody, and that is something that we see here.
Oh, and here he comes. He's flashing in, misses, but he still gets the kill because of the insane cooldown reduction. Seves is trying to pop the Hemoplague, but the ignite. Yeah. Arrow is coming down as the Sejuani is fighting 1v3 over at this pit as the Baron has been picked up for the side of Chimaera. They do get 4 4-0, and the only one alive is Frey the Gamer as they're pushing in with Baron buffs in this mid lane.
Overall, a good win, barring any miracle from Freddy Gamer in here. This was capitalized.
I think we can bar that.
I think we're fine. But it was capitalized really well by SRG Chimaera here, showing that they.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
No, I can't even cast this. Like, what am I supposed to say? Castin just dive fountain and still kills them?
I think we just say that we're gonna see a Cassidon ban coming in for this next phase.
As Chimaera will go 1-0.
Good games for both teams, but we gotta see better draft phase from the side of DVN. And honestly, that was not what I expected, but SRG Chimaera really pulled ahead on this one, being able to secure the win, using superior scaling and a little bit of trickery coming in from your enter there.
Yeah, we see almost the same comp that Chimaera is so used to, with an assassin in the mid lane for Yainda. And the moment you just let him onto one of these and just get him out of lane, then he suddenly just kills everyone. Like, he has 27k damage in this game. He was absolutely insane. The only one coming even like remarkably close is his own ADC with 16k. This guy was just all over, and he was doing damage for 3 to 4 separate enemy champions at one point, which is insane. He was killing everyone on his own, and he could not be focused less, in my opinion, given that they had put the Nang and Sexy Sexpack Gamer in such a good position to actually deal with him, yet they still didn't. So
Yeah.
I don't know how they're actually going to react to this, as we do see this level 17 Caston in the same game as a level 10 Lulu. And I have to think, how do you actually adapt to this? What would you have to do to get Sebas or Sexy Sexpack Gamer in the same lane as Yai in there and come out ahead?
So you would need to set up a pick, which is almost impossible for Avaritia to do because there was so much open on the map for them. They would have had to have won hard enough early game, which is what they were hoping to do. But because they could not, they weren't able to close out the game. They weren't even able to take any good objectives, especially when the Infernal Drake came up. And so when you saw that, you then began the snowball of Casa win. And honestly, that's what makes me excited for game 2, because I really want to see Avaritia take this draft phase into their own hands, play more towards their comfort, if not ban away what they don't want to see coming in from my enter here.
Yeah, I definitely think the pick and ban could go a lot different for this one. I do expect to see some of the picks at least being touched on. I don't think that Chimaera is going to do too many things different. We do see them kind of liking the same bans almost every single time, and they do want Prombo on a jungler that he's very comfortable on. And while we always talk about Prombo kind of underperforming where we really want him to be, he is still hovering around. He's putting down the vision, and he's making sure that if Ironda ever gets just a little bit behind, Prombo's going to make sure he gets the farm. So
yes,
he does actually do a very good supportive job, but we just need to see him be a bit more explosive to match the rest of his team to really put on that next level.
I definitely agree.
As we do want to say thank you guys for tuning in, as we are going to be going on to the second game very soon, and we will see you guys then.
this. Come and run again. We wanna dose of this. Right now it's KD8. I'm a goddess with a blaze. 소리처럼 내 이름 잊지 못하게. Loud, 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 loud. I could take you to the top. 절대 멈추지 못해. 내가 끝내주는 bag, yeah, yeah, yeah. And when I start to talk that, oh, you know how to react. I'm a picture perfect face with that wild in my veins. You can hear it in my glow, 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 glow. So keep your eyes on me now. 무엇을 보든 좋아할 거야. 다 할 수 없는 래퍼. 나와 되길 원한 늘 확신해. We got it all in our hands now. So can you handle what we're all about? What's so tough? Let's get it, show you out. Can you feel the rush now? Ain't nobody bringing us down, 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 down. They could try, but we gonna wear the crown. You could go another round, 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 round. What you love, but you're not bringing us down. Go hard, till we get it, we go hard. We so in it, we pop stars. Only winning, winning. Ain't nobody bringing us down, 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 down. You ready for this?
Let's go.
See, 언제든지 내 모습 매직 단 한 번에 내가 잡아 절대 기죽지 않지. 펴펴 네가 뭘 알아. 견딜 수 없어 원해도 원하는 게 얼굴에 보여. I'm trouble and you running it. I'm so cold. When I move that way, you gon' be so blown. I'm the realest in the game. Said I'm on fire with the blade. You're about to hear my name, ringing in your head like whoa. So keep your eyes on me now. 무엇을 보든 좋아할 거야. We so tough. Let's get it, show you out. Can you feel the rush now? Ain't nobody bringing us down, 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 down. They could try, but we gonna wear the crown. You could go another round, 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 round. Wish you luck, but you're not bringing us down. Go hard, till we get it, we go hard. We so in it, we pop stars. Only winning, winning. Ain't nobody bringing us down, 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 down. 난 멈추지 않아. Oh, we go hard. Oh, we pop stars. Ain't nobody bringing us down, 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 down. They could try, but we gonna wear the crown. You could go another round, 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 round. Wish you luck, but you're not bringing us down. Go hard, till we get it, we go hard. We so in it, we pop stars. Only winning, winning. Ain't nobody bringing us down, 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 down.
Welcome to the world, no heroes and villains. Welcome to the war, we've only begun. So pick up your weapon and face it. There's blood on the ground, go and take it. You get one shot to make it out alive. So higher and higher you're chasing. It's deep in your bones, go and take it. This is your moment. Now is your time, so prove yourself and rise, rise. Make them remember you. Push through heaven. Rise, rise. They will remember you. Welcome to the climb up. Reach for the summit. Visions pray that one false step lead the end.
Hello guys and welcome back in SRG Autumn Split Division 1 where we have SRG Chimaera versus DVN Avaritia. So far we are seeing a 1-0 for the side of Chimaera and I am your PvP caster for today, Nicholas, and I will be joined here by my color caster, Hades. Hades, can you please just say what happened in that game? I want the entire deal.
The entire deal. Well, don't worry, because I got it. So, when you play Chimaera, you have to understand that they are going to pick a very standard comp. They're going to want a safe bot lane with an Ashe or a Braum. They're going to want a jungler that can provide CC, such as a Jarvan. And then you're going to see some solo lane carries that are going to want to scale to late game. And that is exactly what they brought in with the Gangplank and the Kassadin. Throughout the game, we saw Nan on DVN Avaritia. Guess what? They did what they wanted to do. They blew flashes on Gangplank on this Pinata. They were able to affect the bot lane a little bit more by clearing, take objectives, get a farm lead ahead while also maintaining pressure in those lanes. But it just wasn't enough because of the roaming potential coming in from your Inter on this Kassadin, because Bowmaster on this Ashe, we did not talk about it enough. Just being able to get that farm, get that presence in lane, be able to take those dragons to get them ahead. And it felt like if you were on the side of DVN Avaritia here, you were playing on your back foot from minute 7 onward because you were trying to force a mid game on a late game team when actually they just turned that on its edge and said, hey, deal with what you created. And I think that's with the Darius pick that Avaritia did. I think that's with the Vladimir mid trying to swap those around. If in draft you draft something and then you have to now swap lanes to try to counter your opponent here, your draft could be considered poor if it doesn't work out. And so the next thing we look at is actually what this draft phase for DVN Avaritia looks like, and are they going to go early? Are they going to try to beat them where Prompo isn't present, which is the early game? Even though you go Jarvan, it is very rarely we see Prompo do any level 3 ganks to blow any flashes. That is something that you can use to your advantage to start snowballing lanes, because Bowmaster and Postcastin have just remained consistent this entire split. And so if you don't punish them, you have to punish the solo lane.
Yeah, it definitely is. And we do also see that was a very stompy game, and I do want to thank every one of you to tune in. This is of course a best of 3, so we might see one more additional game besides this one we're about to go into, but from what we just saw, it is very likely, if Chimaera is still on 4, that they will just show that kind of dominance, because that we've been very accustomed to through the matches. And I do want to thank again our sponsors, because they're making all of this even more possible, really supporting us, showing the respect to these people who are putting so much of their time into these tournaments. Hungry.dk, Streamboss, Forbes Summerland, and Trigas Esport, thank you so much, as well as to everyone watching at home. We are so glad to be presenting, as we are going now into the pick and bans. How does take us through it?
And we're seeing the same pick and bans as last time. We're seeing Chimaera really want to focus out, take away the Xayah, so the Xayah is invalid. We're taking the Renekton, which Sexy Six-Pack Gamer plays a lot of top lane carries, hard time bruisers, ready to really make your day a bad one. And so being able to remove that Sylas and Renekton is something that Chimaera do want to see. So Pinata can play that Gangplank again really without any impunity. We are seeing the Morgana again for Postcastin, which tells me that they want to force them into the same draft. It tells me that we're going to see an Ashe. Oh, there's a Kassadin ban. Oh, thank goodness. But we're going to see an Ashe and Braum as well. Kaiser coming in for Bowmaster. All right. Cool. That means that they're either going to try to do a Kaiser Nautilus, which might be taken away here for the side of DVN Avaritia, but there it is. And then the Prompo special, the Jarvan no level 6, will come out for Nan. As I was talking about before, you need this early game. And Jarvan played at all of their power spikes can provide you a great early game and force SRG to pick a jungler like Hecarim that can then disrupt those ganks that you do see from Nan.
Yeah, and I definitely do want to think inside of Chimaera's head here, because they just come off and completely clean game, and so far they don't seem to prioritize any of the picks they did in the last one, not even prioritizing the same bot lane. as we do see the Leona come in, which has been the premier counter to this hook meta we have going on in the bot lane so far.
Exactly. What it really tells me is that you took away the Nautilus. Now we're going to basically prevent you from really snowballing a lane. I suspect they picked their AD here as to just kind of counter and round it out so the ADs don't get banned. We are seeing the Lucian really strong early game presence, which is exactly what I had talked about earlier. They need to get this early game going so that they can really test SRG's Prompo's ability to even close out or gain advantages in a game.
Yeah, and it also does put in line that they had a pretty rocky start, even in the bot lane. It didn't entirely look like they had the perfect synergy. I do also believe that Freddy Gaiman is the stand-in here for Bubelgov as AD carry. So they are just gonna try and mix up their style, try and see if they can catch them off guard, and then maybe snowball that into an advantage so there isn't any late game carry threat that can be provided by Chimaera that would get into the scaling part before the game is already essentially over.
Exactly. I do like the Kiana ban, right? If you're going to ban
Yes.
Kassadin, you better ban the other assassin that your inter has been playing religiously in solos, but also in the divisional matchups here today. Kiana's incredibly dangerous right now in any of the lanes, and I'm also glad to see probably a Pantheon ban just to get the solo lanes out of there to create kind of a more mixed bag on this new patch of 9.21. The best part about this patch too, the Kale ban, nice.
Okay,
Best
that,
part
that
about this
also
patch-
makes sense because
yeah,
we have seen a lot of Kale Wells as well. I
We
do
do.
think that she's still incredibly strong, especially after the process really proven the AP build and the fact that she's so flexible in the lanes. And
Yes.
I could definitely see that being the late game option since they've already picked a pretty mid-gamey version for Chimera this time.
Exactly. And seeing the Vigar come in is just telling us that they're afraid of your Inter's next assassin. They're afraid of this talent. They're afraid of a Fizz coming in. And so putting a Vigar, putting that extra scaling to give yourselves a little bit of insurance, that tells me that Six-Pack Gamer is going to try to pick any bruiser that they can. Just on a bid. Oh, God. Or they're going to try to pick a tank here for SPG.
Like so far, this just looks
Oh, no.
incredibly strong. As it's most likely gonna be Tristana and Akali flexible swaps here, and I would like to see Kha'Zix, but there's already a Jarvan there, so please don't lock that in.
Well, you can flex that top lane. I hope that they get just a formidable front line for Sexy Six-Pack up here because the Nautilus and Nan on Tank Jarvan, it just won't do it because of the peel potential coming in from SRG Chimaera. They did take the Gangplank, which tells me that they're looking for scaling in the solo lanes, but I don't know how they're going to answer Pinata or Yerinter on such aggressive picks in these lanes, especially with Propo being able to flood your lane with CC on your magical horse, and then also just leave in a flash. And so Nan has their work cut out for them as they work through their own jungle pathing onto which lane they need to get ahead or at least compensate for.
Yeah, and I do think the Lucian is a bit more early game focused, but this is a great way to bait them into more early game focused style on the other side, because Tristana and Akali do have these like really standard points in levels where you can really see this is when they want to engage. Therefore, I just play passive this level and wait it out. And
Exactly.
now that they've baited Prombo into a jungler that actually loses a lot of impact later in the game, as well as Bowmaster not having that extreme utility that he's used to, now you suddenly have Delusion just building a later game version of him, and then they might actually have a way to beat them in late game, because that seems still to be the style they want to go for here. With the late game scaling of both Gangplank and Vega, I do think this is going to be a bit more competitive, but where are you leaning? Where do you think we're especially going to have to look?
I really think they have to look towards the bot lane. I think if you are on the side of Avaritia here, you need to take Freddy Gamer in and stick in the head, and you need to give them. And as you said, working around cooldowns is great, but that means you can't let your Inter roam, which means Sebas has to push consistently, which gives Propo an opening in that mid lane. And then Pinata, all you're doing is trying to poke out a Gangplank that is going to bring grasp and just wait and hopefully wait enough so that they can get their item spikes around objectives and be able to not just ult themselves when they're about to die, which we did see a lot from Pinata on the Gangplank last game.
Yeah, we do see Sexy Six-Pack Gamer now returning onto the Gangplank. Now, I've seen this guy's Gangplank, and I must say, it's still one of the best I have seen, and Pinata didn't actually seem to have a completely great time against it last game either. Oh no, sorry, he was playing the Gangplank, but he wasn't having as great of a time on the Gangplank that I'm used to seeing from 66 by. So I want to see what he can bring. Is he going to bring a more aggressive style? Is he actually even going to win the lane? I would normally say that Kali is extremely bully-wise if you play her right, but 66 pack has seemed to dominate laning phase throughout the entire split.
Yeah, I'm definitely curious to see how Pinata pilots this Akali today. The part that really gets me is going to be the pathing from Prompo. As we've talked about, we don't see a lot of Prompo ganks early. This Hecarim gives them definitely the utility to grab boots and then go make an impact. Go gank Freddy Gamerin, go gank Stick in the Head, or even create a pick for Sevez in the mid lane as soon as the event horizon gets popped on this Vigar. So when I say Nan has their work cut out for them, I mean they have to ward heavily and they have to ward often just to know what path Prompo is going to take.
Yeah, we definitely do think there's a lot of kill pressure on these teams. And we have already seen some of these picks way too often in the split, and we do already know their powers, but especially the Kaiser Leona, it's something that people sometimes don't respect, but we saw from especially SKT during the tournament, that if these guys just get that CC down, then the plasma stack alone is going to be enough to even one-hit junglers at times. So Nang actually has to be careful, because at one point the Leona QE into the Kaiser free combo with the WQ auto, you're suddenly dead.
And
I remember that RNG match way too good. That is insane amount of damage.
And just the survivability, something we hadn't talked about is the sustain that comes from the comp of SRG here. Chimaera's sustain is really well with Hecarim and Leona and Kai'Sa, but you also get this unique potential on a 1-3-1 with your Inter and Pinata, again, having good engage, good disengage, and just being able to really impact the map. As we start loading into game, I hope to see how Avaritia counters what their SRG wants to set up in the mid game.
Yeah, and as we are loading into the game, I can already see an electrocute Jarvan. Now, as a player who's played really a lot of Jarvan, I never entirely liked this. I do think that electrocute is a bit weaker than the other. Yeah. And I do think electrocute is a bit weaker than the Conqueror. I do also think it brings a little less early game where it comes to playing against tank matchups, but it can still be very effective if you get a lot of the enchantments off, like the Warrior, as well as like really early either Tiamat or Phage. Then suddenly that can be really great against the Tristana matchup, because if the Jarvan ever gets onto you, then you're suddenly taking way too hard of a burst damage, and Illusion will do the rest.
I agree with that. My only quarrel is I tell my players never to go down. Come on, let's go take the head, grab it, and the flash. Alright. Oof.
Well, that's a rough start.
Yeah, it's a little rough start. But only blowing your flashes, Bowmaster. Understanding that it's the only way you die in lane now, unless barring an early level 2 gank, which is probably not going to happen, is... Why are they going, Nick? What are they doing?
They might be looking for just one ward in, and they're probably just gonna go and leash Nang at the bot side. It does seem like it is more Nang's style to just get the best leash, as Jan also just got a nice ward down.
Yeah, you traded wards. Obviously on the side of Avaritia, you were able to secure the early game lead with your summoner spell. But we're seeing very traditional starts here. When you start red and you most likely are planning to path top lane, or if you're starting blue on red side. But I am seeing Nung want to punish this flashless Kai'Sa in the bot lane.
Yeah, it's a level 2 Jarvan gang. We've seen this one before, but Prompo is on the bot side and they decide against it. Doesn't really have the pressure to, as Inda just goes for that level 2 and 7.
Oh, goodness.
He's down to 40% health at level 1. That's a hard one.
It is.
Oh, but we do see Jarvan. Nang is already looking for a second gank of the game. 66-pack is actually getting poked out by Benyao. Okay, Avaritia comes down. Inda might be falling down. The Ignites come down. Nang might be falling down. No, that's the first blood by Inda. And he gets
What is that, dude? Oh my goodness. Okay, so you have them where you want them. If you're not, you have your enter exactly where you want them. The event horizon comes up. The cooldown from your rocket jump is down from Tristana. This is the anything happening in the bot. Please, I'm trying to do analysis. Stop fighting.
I think you're fine, but oh no, look where Prompo is. He might be spotted out if he doesn't get out of there. Try and do it fast because I think Prompo's gonna go for the steal.
I think Prompo's gonna get hit here. But I mean, that is really up to.
Oh, Prompo's going for it. Nang is only level 2. Prompo's level 3.
Oh.
This might bomb.
Yep.
Nang gets it, but
we are seeing Freddy just go after this Leona. Oh goodness.
This is a very rocky start. Nang has still only gotten 2 camps, so he's still level 2. Prompo's even trying to steal Raptors.
And that's kind of the price you pay.
There's no Q onto Nang anymore. Oh, the Ignite's coming out, Nang.
There it is. Wait, Nang's fine.
Yeah, it's only a level 3 Ignite. It's not gonna take him down, especially with that sweet refillable potion. But we're seeing both Pogan top and bot as Zevis is trying to help, but now he's caught in between.
Oh, you're enter.
Oh, the hook and bot lane as well. We're seeing space all around.
And these aren't even. You have to really think about as a team here. Now that you've taken all these favorable trades, now you have to keep track of all these summoner spells that, especially for Chimaera here, you have to know what advantage you want to take on the map. Seves does not have flash. Nan does not have flash. If you're going to impact the bot lane and blow those flashes, you're going to have a flashless team.
Might be caught out by Pinata here. Very.
Oh no.
Flash, but
one more
auto from Pinata.
Oh. So, obviously things are going really well for the side of SRG Chimaera here. Mainly because they now don't even have to focus on their bot lane, who has got out of some pretty nasty trades coming in from Sick in the Head. However, Pinata's being able to hold their own. The TP and flash is blown from 66-pack Gamer, and Seves can't even farm in their own lane without the poke from the Tristana. And so Chimaera coming out strong, showing that yes, we can pick an early game comp, and yes, we can punish a Jarvan if it's picked into us.
Yeah, and the Cloud Drake has spawned now. Again, a very low
Make
impact.
the horse faster.
Yeah. I do think this is secretly a blessing in disguise for Avaritia, because so far Prompo's on the bot side of the map and they have a big lead. They don't want to fight against Drake as... Okay, yeah, they're just dead here. Second ahead is just dead already. Freddy, however, gets Nang here, but it's too late. There's 4 on the bot side. That was a bait. Nang, you baited your team. What are you doing?
You really did. You really did. I think that's what we call softcore inting here. You didn't understand why you inted, but it was definitely...
Pinata's ult now. 66-pack might just go down to the ult here. Yeah, there's no flash. It's just a free kill for Pinata. Very nice timing on the ult there.
And we're just seeing a clinic coming in from almost all lanes here. Especially Pinata, showing that, hey, I can play more champions than Gangplank. I can play better than scaling. You don't want us to go scaling? Fine. We'll kill you before 10 minutes. That's exactly what we're seeing from Chimaera here. And before we were rudely interrupted by that. Oh,
he's gonna try and go for Seves. Yep, that's a solo kill.
That's another solo
kill, by the way.
Oh, you're inter. I'm trying to speak.
6 minutes and 6-0, by the way.
Yeah, 6 kills in 6 minutes. If they keep this up.
You're level 4, Pinata's level 7.
Oh no.
Can he do it? Oh, no, he can't. He got out though.
This is now trying to fall back
Oh
on
no,
maybe.
Iron might be looking for it as well as Pinata. Nine, run.
Like,
Okay.
trying to do a little split-second analysis here. If you are the side of Avaritia here, the only way you get back into the game is farming up and playing safe and not pushing up far enough where you think that you're not going to get solo kill. That means Seves has to stay under tower and wait for Nan to gank.
Oh,
Nan
that's Crumble in the bot side. Nice flash by Leona to get that stun. You see both the flashes bone, but because Bowmaster also goes for it. Now the Nautilus is caught out because of Crumbles. Nice devastating charge. They're gonna pick up one, as Lucian also has to flash away.
You know, I don't.
Oh
I just
no,
feel,
66 back. You might take a bad trade here.
just feel dirty, dude. This game.
There's no ult onto Pinata, but I do still think that... Oh, 66 pack might bring it back. Pinata use flash. He doesn't have flash himself, so he might not be able to follow it back up. But that was a nice turnaround by 66 pack.
And that's why, in theory, especially mid lane, we see a lot of mid lane gangplanks coming out whenever Akali is picked, because it is supposed to be the counter, but only after your cooldown, where then you can punish the Shroud. And so maybe Sexy Six-Pack Gamer picks it back up, but being down 2 kills and having to pay the Hex Drinker tax right away
nice.
instead of going for Sheen.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I have to cut it out because Sig in the head just gonna make a fail flash. He's still gonna try and go for it, but can they actually get onto Bowmaster?
There we go.
Gonna do an EQ. They don't get anything. Sig in the head is just dead. They're getting the 2. Sevis is down there now.
What is Sevis doing?
3.
Bruh.
Can they just ult Prompo? It's a heal! But Sevis is still gonna get it. So it's gonna be a 4-for-1. Now the scoreline is 11-1 in 8 minutes. And we see Chimaera looking a bit shaky, you know, they have a death now, like I think...
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. They allowed a death on their horse.
Especially onto Prompo, like that now another game's over.
Oh no, the game's actually swinging in Everest's favor here. You're right. So, God, I feel like it's one fight after the other because of just tempo they have on this map here. The only part of the map they don't really have tempo on, or at least any advantage that they can't capitalize on, is in this top lane. First tower, pre-10. Woo! Is this gonna be a perfect
got
power
level
pick?
6, guys. He got level 6. Now he can make big ploy plays. As we
Big
see,
boy plays.
They're just chasing him down in his own jungle. Where's that red buff at? Where's that gangplank at?
Because he knows Nan's in the jungle.
Yeah,
He's gonna collapse. There are no pings.
9, go up and check. Help your top lane out. Yeah, 66 pack. Just gotta try and flash. It's too late. Yeah,
No, what are you? Oh,
9, can you do anything?
Lifeline.
The Akali ult also just comes out. Yeah, it's a dead. Yeah, 9 also just waits to splash. 2 flashes blown. 13-1. I hate to say the game is over, but it's 21 to 12k gold. As we do see a fight in the bot lane, however. Bowmaster may have just overcommitted there.
Overextended.
Gets a shutdown onto Sick in the head. But proper 1v1 Sevis.
What was Sevis doing in the river? Riddle me this.
Played it up.
He's just having fun, you know, taking a little stroll, a little VR legs.
Yeah, Prompo's
But-
going down because Bowmaster just lost his head. So now they need the headless rider down on the bot side to really pick up those plates.
That's true.
As they are looking for that 15 golden plate mark. They've already got 13. They're looking for the free. Powers. 10 minutes.
And the scaling comp that you would want to see on Sevis and Sexy Six-Pack is never going to be online unless you see SRG Chimaera just make mistake after mistake after mistake. And that's almost impossible because their itemization that is going to come out from these next buys are going to be so powerful that even if they make 3 mistakes in a row, they could probably still kill you. It is before 15 minutes, Nick. And we're already seeing main objective takes. We'll probably see Herald will go down. And maybe, just maybe, we'll see Shelly dancing at the Nexus today.
Yeah, Sig in the head might be overcommitting as well here. Brompo is gonna use the ulti. Yeah, it's a dead Nautilus. Oh, and Ida goes in the mid lane.
It's a dead Vigar.
Yeah, that was crit mana, totally.
So,
Pinata's
obviously,
just gonna go for... oh, there's no tower. It's not even a
there's
dive.
no tower. There's nothing you can do.
Oh, that's Shuriken. Yeah, it... Pinata, you did it. You did it, buddy. You did
You're
it.
trying. You're out here.
Oh, Tier 2 turrets now. Let's go for
What
tier
is
2.
this?
No time for analysis. No. Anang is on the top side. We don't care. Mid lane turret. Yep. That's what's
Like,
next.
there's what is like there's lack of counterplay. They're like getting out of position. If you are civilian here, like your team is falling apart before your eyes, and you're getting out of position. You're not even knowing where you. Think of it in the player's shoes. Like we've all eventually been in a game like this, and so trying to take this back.
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's 6-1.
I don't even want to try because I just know it's Nang who's tunnel vision. He's tilted. He knows the game is over, but he has to play it through because he's a good guy.
And I think overall, if you pause the game, okay, think with me. If let's say a deal is struck, that's the only way I think this game is won.
In terms of any NA fans, by the way.
Yes, a deal is struck, and Avaritia says, "Hey, can you just give us like a minute to farm? Just 1 minute where you're not killing us because they have 19 kills in 13 minutes." Like,
Oh,
and
there's
all
like
of those
5 people
kills
up against
are all
this
their
Tristana.
carries.
It's gonna be a bloodbath.
It's gonna be a blood. But they're trying to gank someone that has an evidence.
Vendorite catches them out. He's gonna be Kraken Shoulder, and it's a shot for Sabas. It's
Oh my
the
God.
back voice. Only a 12k deficit as Meltbox is going in with Pinata here, taking the head, gets hit, but there's another event horizon. Yes, this stealth goes
Oh,
over
he's
to
stunned.
Pinata, but he's going back in. It's the miss by the Leona, but he's getting out. He's caught up to Pinata.
wait.
It's not a shutdown, boys. We're doing it. We're bringing it back, Avaritia.
Okay.
Oh, here's the Kaiser. 1 minute.
Can we get the pick?
Propo's coming as well. Propo, look at
Oh, the
this. Propo
shutdown gold! Oh my god!
This Nang is getting another shutdown. It's amazing by Avaritia. Just bring this game back around. 5-man strong, getting 3 picks. As Norland may just be put out here, but you know, don't care because he gets sound.
Okay.
What's the
Okay.
hype?
Yeah, that's a little hypey. So the good news is they've put the gold deficit back to a nice 10,000, which I think sets them up for losing a couple more towers. When I was talking about the deal to be struck between both teams, that's the best. that it could possibly do.
Yeah. No matter. Yeah, that's half your health, buddy.
And you really wish you don't take glacial augment here for. Are planning to get behind, then, like, I mean, it's weird to say that you plan to get behind, but like that's where it kind of ruins their day, and there's nothing they can do. There's nothing Avaritia can do here except maybe wait out more potential mistakes, just like they tried to do with the Enter in the top lane. But the Herald, Shelly's going down. I think they should hold it until the end. I really want to see it touch the Nexus today.
Yes, but no, we like to hype it up like a true NA fans whenever NA does some time. As
Whenever
Pinata
NA
comes
clears
out
the
again,
board.
but they all
Oh, Zevis. The counterplay.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Putting down the baby cage against baby Chimaera here as the. Okay, they're gonna break open that inhibitor here because Herald, you're not gonna dance that. You're just gonna break
Shelly.
open the game.
You didn't do anything wrong. Don't. There goes my dreams.
Well, but the dream of Chimaera 2-0 is still about to be shattered by Avaritia here because they're looking to get into 3 games with their event horizon, catching people out over and over again.
You know, at one point,
they get event horizon.
0-4, and now they're 3-4.
Oh, that's an infernal. Just ignore. It's not map play. It's basically just event horizon not being in position.
Exactly. And I don't know if you know this, but
and that's Tristana going in onto Freddy. Freddy might just flash. Yeah, he gets flashed.
Oh my god.
The glacial coming
Oh,
down.
oh, can't they do? Oh no.
Fuck Kenny.
Davis, anytime he wants. You understand this?
Burst the shot plus ignite, and that's you on 10% HP. There's no primordial burst on Sevis so far. Oh, we see. Oh, 9 trying to defend the turret here.
Oh,
Promo has to
oh.
ult out. Meltbox, however, turns it around together with Bowmaster as 9 has to flash away this time. Oh, Inder might just be looking for the tower dome here.
Oh, he's gonna do it.
Presses the gunplay. Kills the
Gunplay.
Oh, what skills? The outplay button.
The outplay button.
Micah knows all about that after all.
You really do, especially if you play Malzahar even. The
Oh,
issue that I'm seeing here is like, okay, so I want everyone that is watching.
Sing the head tries to engage here. The support battle for the
Wet
ages.
noodle fight. So let's say you just put your hand in front of either the 2 or the 1 on Chimaera's kills, and suddenly this is a great game.
Oh, suddenly we have Promo getting called out here. 9 also picking up another kill as Pinata is trying to all the way. 9 still doesn't have his Cataclysm. However, 9 is taking all the kills from his rightful carries. He's doing the exact perfect jungle.
He is.
Perfect, spectacular.
No, he's okay. No. This is actually what's happening. He's going damage Jarvan and needs his items.
With Stoneplate.
With Stoneplate. Big brain moves.
Yeah, I do think that we might have seen the inhib broke here, and we do just see Chimaera. I have talked to the coaches a bit, and they do just say that these guys are having a blast of a time. Even when they're losing, they just are laughing out loud about how bad they perform. So when they're this far ahead and they're just like completely snowballing, they're just having a crazy old time, and their coaches, while being completely mad because they can't somehow get it through their head that they have to take it seriously. But these guys, they're having a blast playing it like fucking champ. They are ready to end this game. They're just gonna have fun playing with their food while they can. Real G2 spirit.
And I mean, yeah, real G2 spirit here. Being able to bust open an inhib prior to 20 minutes, and also still at the same time be able to push out. Oh, 66 pack those barrels.
Okay, this might be bot tower.
Yes,
doesn't
this
seem
is
like the
fine.
contest can really get there.
But there is no
Even
contest,
all
there's
those
no
barrels.
initiative. So even if they wanted to pick someone out, they have no wards, they have no vision. There's nothing that Civilian Avaritia can do here. Except just play Turtle and wait for Baron to spawn and hope that SRG just goes for Baron so they can kind of reclaim a little bit of their...
Yeah, and Veigar is getting ever that closer to his true item power spike. That isn't really gonna do much because there's already free power spike for that Tristana. But you know, it's the fault that counts,
It's the
right?
fault.
And he
It's
has
really
that
the
primordial burst outplay button and the baby cage that they apparently keep dying to.
And
Like he
I
is
mean,
the absolute best counter to Akali, so there is still hope.
there is still hope. They've picked Seves and Gangplank. They've picked these 2 champions. Seves as champion. They picked Veigar and Gangplank. And
Avaritia, I have converted. Show me Pinata. Not. Okay, they might have called 66 pack game out here. Slightly. Bowmaster.
I can't believe that happened.
Oh, and
Who
here we
could
see
have
the
seen
engage by
this?
Bowmaster. He's flashing in. They're getting Pinata over. They're rocket jumping over as well with Iron. As Pinata flashes in onto Freddy Gamer. That's a 4 kills. And that's my view the game. I think that's just game as 9 probably counts.
This reminds me of when you have to do missions in the League client, but you don't want to play against actual people.
Yes.
And so you play against bots.
Yes.
And I hate to say that about Avaritia because you know they're trying, right? You know they're having a good time, but you know they're trying.
This early stuff. Now he starts to crumble. Yeah, as we do see the end of the game. Like, yeah, I'm totally agreeing. Like, Nang tried to set up something, but it kept failing. His entire team died off the face of his gang. And then suddenly we just see Chimaera just completely snowball this game once again. 2-0, and they are winning this game. Any closing thoughts? An absolute stomp fiesta?
Yeah, I enter. Where was that week 1 and 2? Just being able to solo carry these games. That's player of the game. That's gameplay. That's every clip that we could have clipped this game. Is I enter on Kassadin. I enter on the Tristana. I thought these games were going to be very low and slow in comparison to SRG Chimaera's gameplay, but they really pulled out what they can do if they get free reign of a draft and they're able to showcase that, hey, they still are a force to be reckoned with come an early game. Pinata on Akali was a breath of fresh air. Seeing Prompo not on J4 was probably the most fun Prompo's had in a little bit. And for once, we did talk about Bowmaster and Postcast. Just kidding. We never talk about them. They still performed incredibly well. Like overall, just great gameplay from SRG Chimaera. But if you look at the other side, Nick, they wanted to make things happen and they couldn't. They just weren't allowed. They were suffocated from all objectives across the map. SRG Chimaera just said, "You can't play the game today. We're sorry. Come again tomorrow." Because nothing they could have done would have helped them in lanes besides getting Non a little bit more rotating and keeping their jungle up to date. You saw early with Prompo being able to invade and then get capitalized on with air enter and their mobility. And that is what put Non behind. And that is what led the game to the giant snowball that we saw.
Yeah, we definitely just said like in the last game it didn't even like look like much of a game. It was just Sevis pressing that Event Horizon, but what the rest of his team like they did fine in lane, but Nang just tried to put as much impact and really tried to get this game to actually be savable, but instead he just wrecked it. He wrecked it right open, and it wasn't even on purpose. It was simply because it was not played well enough and executed well enough for the ganks to actually matter. When you don't have the absolute power of the gank, then there's just this massive hole and gap that suddenly just turns everything into mush. And that's how we have to see Avaritia's game here today. This was probably not the performance they can put up. We have to look forward and seeing them going on for the rest of the split, but definitely we have to look out for Chimaera potentially challenging for that number one spot after this dominating performance.
Exactly. And hopefully we get to see those against, top teams like Sphinx right now, being 4-1 and Hydra is. And then Team 7 AM hasn't even lost a game yet. And so looking further into the schedule, we are gonna see the Hydra Chimaera matchup for their next match. We are gonna see the Sphinx Chimaera matchup and the Team 7 AM right in a row. So getting a little win here is just gonna hopefully propel them and give them enough momentum to kind of power through a really hard part in their schedule.
Yeah, I definitely do want to watch this. I do think we're gonna have a lot of fun, especially here in Division 1, seeing Chimera Sphinx really battling it out so close, and then 7 AM as well coming in. We're just putting Hydra in as well. We're just having all of these high-end teams that really has shown perform also previously in other tournaments I've been in. So when they now come together and join in so many weeks in a row, I'm really excited to see Chimera's growth because they have really shown they can play all of the meta champions and still put in on anything just to make them work like a real caps. I will, however, say that has been great to cast for you. Even though it has been stormy, we thank you guys so much for watching, and we thank our sponsors again very much for putting up this great deal. We just love casting for you guys, and we're so glad you tune in to watch as these guys are performing so well, especially with that Rent Horizon. We have to talk about that some more.
Yes.
But it has been so nice to cast for you. I have been Nicholas, your PvP caster, and Hadis has been your color caster. Any closing thoughts, Hadis? Any MVP we have to quickly just talk about?
Oh, we don't. I think this kind of solidifies up the game. Again, we appreciate you coming by. Thanks. Good game. Well played. And we'll see you on the next one.